Hey, Cherokee and Cobb County, this is Bob Mullinax with RPM Landscape. Are you tired of watching the developers and the builders come in to these land lots that you own around your home or onto your property or your neighbor's property, especially you farm owners, and watching them just come in and completely grade, push over every tree and destroy everything? I'm pretty tired of watching that happen too, so we're going to have a forestry machine in here to clear this lot tomorrow or the next day. I've gone through here with a chainsaw and I've cleaned out around all these big trees to make sure that we don't scar them up and beat these big trees up. And then they'll be mulching all these piles in here, but let me show you why we're doing that, show you some of the plants that we were able to save by taking our time and doing some prep work before we let them come in here and start clearing brush. So this is a native magnolia right here. It's a native tree here in North Georgia. You can see we got it flagged there to make sure they don't take it out, but these are great wildlife trees. They do bloom, and you couldn't even see it in here before, so we're going to have the guys working right around this. You can see these orange flags. This little area of grasses we discovered up the middle of this lot, woodland oats growing in here, so we're going to have the track machine working around this area so we don't destroy all these little woodland oats. They're pretty good stuff. Now, as you can see on this hill up here in this corner, we've got some massive hardwood trees, some big poplars, some big hickory trees. I've gone through with the chainsaw and took some of the small stuff out, leaving these big trees, and we'll probably keep the forestry machine out of there altogether unless they just go in and skim across the tops to get some of the tops ground up. But we don't want to disturb all that soil and dig up the roots on these big hardwood trees that are ancient. These probably 75, 80-year-old trees. Got a young little hickory tree here. It's good to leave a few hickory trees that have a little bit of canopy above, hardwoods and whatnot. You don't want to take all your juvenile trees out. You want there to be a second generation of trees out here. So we've gone through and selected some that had canopy space to leave behind. So I'm just going to show you one stand of these. These were hidden, and there's several masses of these that we've cleaned out around and under. Flagged them to make sure the forestry machine doesn't get them. These guys here are called native farkleberry. They are native high bush blueberry here in North Georgia. Look at the size. It's probably the biggest farkleberry I've ever seen in my life. Now, if we had sent the forestry machine out here and not taken the time to come through and find all these blueberry bushes, they didn't know what they wouldn't know what they were looking for. They would have just mulched them all up. So we've saved probably at least 30 to 40 something big native farkleberry blueberry bushes in here. We've also protected all these big hardwoods from getting scarred up and hit by equipment because we've cleaned out around all of them. We found some pretty dogwoods in here too that we flagged to make sure the guys didn't mulch them up. So unfortunately, we have here in this ditch kudzu starting to take off. See where I've cleaned along the road. We have privet. We have Japanese honeysuckle. We have Elaeagnus growing in here. Pretty much every nasty invasive that you can think of is covering the front of this lot. So we'll be mulching all this with a forestry machine, then coming back next spring when everything flushes back out with an invasive removal specialist that knows how to treat all of these invasives. Stuff like kudzu takes a ton of different herbicides to kill it, stuff that we wouldn't use ourselves. So that will be the last phase of this project, and I'll show you more after it's all cleaned up with the forestry machine. So these are the coolest find out here. This is a very, very large shortleaf pine tree. You look up there, you'll see that the needles are super short and curly. Pine cones are small, and that tree is becoming an endangered habitat, really. They've cut so many of them. We've got this one here, and around here we've got another extremely large shortleaf pine right here. Another dead giveaway for shortleaf pines is these little pores in the bark. If you can look right there, you'll see these little holes. These are ancient shortleaf pine trees. Now, if a builder or developer doesn't care or didn't know what he was looking at, he would take those two trees down in a heartbeat. And we really need to save those trees. They need to be restored. I went to a conference on shortleaf pines just a week ago, and there's a restoration effort going on to restore these trees and get more planted. So there's a lot of gems that are hidden in these abandoned and forgotten residential lots and small farm properties around here. It's worth having somebody that knows what they're looking at to come in here and help you thin and do habitat restoration so that you can get all the aesthetic value and protect these plants that need to be protected. I'm tired of seeing builders and developers just raking everything off to the ground. So RPM Landscape, we can help you with that. Thanks.